This is the TAHMO Generation 3 weather station. It has many sensors. I'd like to just talk through a few of them right now. One thing we see is it has an N on it indicating which direction is north, and the station wants to have that north so that when it measures the wind, it knows which way the wind is coming from properly. We can see, looking in the side of this, that we have a small level here to verify that when the station is mounted properly, it's at level. So you'll look up and look at that bubble and make sure it's centered. Okay? Right in the middle here, there's a small pin. It's very important that does not get bent. That's our temperature sensor. Very accurate temperature sensor protected from the sun. If you look, you'll see these 4 ports, and those 4 with the metal screens are the air measurements, this wind speed measurement, what we call a sonic anemometer. They send out small bursts of sound which reflect off of this little pad, and then this time of travel of that sound tells us how fast the wind is going. And these are extremely accurate to very low and very high wind speeds. Behind the white panel here, we have our temperature and relative humidity measurement. It's important to remeasure temperature so we correct the relative humidity for the actual temperature as it finds itself inside the station, which is sometimes a little different than the air temperature outside. And so we make a correction to get the right humidity. So in this small cavity, we're measuring temperature twice, relative humidity, and wind speed. On the top of the station, you'll see the solar radiation sensor, and this is a very accurate measurement of the intensity of the sun hitting the station. Here we have the filter that keeps material out of the rain gauge and flowing easily. This filter can be removed and cleaned as you need to, and then simply pushed back into the hole. And it must always stay clean of debris so that water can flow into the rain gauge. The rain comes in the top here and goes out the side. And you'll see there's a small screen over the exit so that no insects can get inside of the device. That's very important to keep both of these holes protected, or else we'll find that there are ants and other spiders getting inside of our device, which is not acceptable. We don't normally take this off, but I'll show you for a moment. If you push down and rotate, then the top comes off. You have to be very careful because there's a thin wire connecting the solar radiation sensor to the circuit board. Here we see that the water drips down through this hole and passes by 2 gold electrodes, and those are what actually measure each drop formed by the rain gauge. The volume and the electrical properties of the water are measured. When you put the device back together, and you don't normally need to take it apart, but when you put it back together, make sure that it's lined up, compress the spring, and rotate, and then it should be secure. And that's a brief introduction to the meteorologic station. It has temperature, relative humidity, wind speed, rainfall, precipitation, and also inside a lightning detector, an accelerometer which tells if it's vertical, a GPS that tells us exactly where the station is located, and of course the cell phone, which communicates back to the internet and gives the data to the students and anyone else who wants to use those data. So that's the MEM station. It's a self-powered, no moving parts weather station designed specifically for TAHMO.